Hey guys, thanks for clicking. I appreciate that. So today we're going to go over how to sharpen your chainsaw chain. This is one of my favorite things to talk about because I swear every single person has a different opinion on how it's supposed to be sharpened. Is it sharpened correctly? What tool you're supposed to use to sharpen? It just goes on and on and on, and it just seems like an endless argument of how to do it and how to do it correctly. Okay, I am not an arborist, but I am a landscaper, and let me tell you what, we use the chainsaw almost every day, all the time. We cut lots and lots of wood. So with that being said, when you go out there with your saw and you start cutting, you know the difference. You know if the chain is good or if the chain isn't. You know if the rakers are too high or whatever. We'll go over all of that stuff, but I'm gonna just show you basically how I do it and what works for me, and I'm gonna share that with you. So let's check it out. So with all that nonsense being said, let's just get down to it. There you go. This is what I use to sharpen a chainsaw chain. It is a chainsaw file. Now obviously different file for different size chains, so you make sure you get the right size file, but I don't know, I've seen so many contraptions, you know, you screw this thing on, you bolt it, you get the right, that's all great. And if that works for you, that's awesome. But I'm just showing you again how I do it and what works for me. So I just take a basic file. I actually do have one little file holder. This thing is, it's awesome. It just puts a file in there. It gives you a better grip because as you can see on the end of the thing, you know, it's really kind of pointy. So hard to grab onto that thing. So I do use this little file holder. I do love this thing. And I use a plain Jane flat file for the rakers. That's how I do it. Let's take a look at it and see. This is it. I have two ways that I sharpen it. If it's on the saw, then I will put the saw right into the vise. I'll show you that after I finish this one. Other than that, I just put the chain right into my vise. It hangs perfectly down here, so I can just roll as I go, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So let's get to it. I hope that's close enough. That's about the closest I can get it without hitting it. So first thing I do is I set the chain in there nice and tight, right? And then I take my flat file and I'm going to hit the rakers. I don't hit the rakers every single time I sharpen, like every other time. And I just go like 1, 2, 3, nothing crazy, it's flat. I can see that the raker, I don't know, I just kind of eyeball it, but to me it looks good. So that's how I do it. And then I grab the file. Now the first part with the file is you want to work on what they call the gullet here. This is the spot here first. The last part you're going to do is the actual cutting edge right here. Can you see that? Okay, so when I put the file in, first thing I'm going to do, nice and easy, I'm just going to concentrate on getting the gullet part. And you can see, I think you can see that. Because see, that's against the cutting edge, and that's against the gullet. You see the space? I think you can see the space in there. So first thing you want to do is you really want to just work on the gullet. And as you work on this gullet, you're going to see the space between the file and the cutting edge close. Because right now it's not hitting it, you see? You could jam up against it, but then you're not getting the gullet. So first part we're going to do is we're going to do into the gullet like this. Now, all those people who are like, file, take it out, remove, put, I don't do that. That's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm putting pressure, and on my return, there's just no pressure. I'm not filing anything. So I'm only filing in one direction. And this is how you do it. You just kind of get a little motion here, and you'll feel it start to ease up. That means you're starting to cut the gullet into the shape. Now, focus on the space between the file and the cutting edge there. And as you just continue to go like this, you want to push and you want to pull evenly. This is why I use that little file holder, because it's just a little bit easier to use. So now you'll see the space starting to close up as it's getting closer to the cutting edge. And you just keep going. And you'll feel it. It gets easier. You do not have to put a lot of pressure on this. Just a constant little pressure. Now you see it starting to close up to the cutting edge. Now, once you get to this point, take a look, see how it is. Now, I don't know if I can focus on that cutting edge better. I wish I had a better camera, sorry guys. And then as you get into that, the gullet's shaped out nice. Now you're just gonna put a little pressure up against the actual cutting edge right there. And you're gonna see the little files just digging in there. And you'll get like a little, let's see if we can just kind of, I don't like this file. I'm doing that for you guys, but I always use this. Clean that off. And then the last couple, I just put against there, and you'll see, I'll use my hand here, get that burr off of the top. Now, I mean, that is razor sharp. Let me see if I can get the camera in a little closer. Right. Try to focus on that edge. I don't know if I can. I apologize. Like I said, I wish I had a better camera, but that edge is razor sharp. I mean, you feel it with your hand, just tiny touch on there, and it is ready to go. It's blurry. There it is. Maybe that's a good edge. There you go. I think that one, you can see it right there, but that's how I do it. And then, okay, so that's how I do it. And then on my vise, I just loosen it up a tiny bit, and I just roll it right to the next one. Kind of hold it down, tighten the vise up. Nice flat file on the raker thing. Like I said, I eyeball it. It looks good to me. Then I get the file, and we see the same process over and over. You just kind of, nice, especially in the beginning when you're working on that gullet. Just work on making an even flow with the file. You do not have to count how many strokes. That is another thing that makes me crazy. It is absolutely ridiculous. People say, if you do 3 on this one, you have to do 3. No, you do not. I'm sorry, you want to argue it, go ahead. But you just file until you get the tooth to where you're happy with the shape and the sharpness. And as you know, I'm just going now, it's closing up. I'm ready to hit the cutting edge. So I'm going to put a little pressure up. I wish I could show you this from the other side. And there you go. All right, I'm going to try and flip it around. So now, like I said, you do the gullet first, and then as you start to push pressure up on your cutting edge, so this is, we're focusing on the actual cutting edge, and you're going to see, you'll see that little buildup of filing right there. See, I don't know if that focuses on that. But that is how you know you're hitting the cutting edge. The file is perfect against. You see those little bits and pieces right there? And that's how you know. I just go like that. And that is razor sharp, folks. All right, and that's how I do one side. Now, I already did the other side, so I'm gonna show you just how I flip it. So I just take it out of the vise like that. Bring it around, you just flip the chain right to the other side. I drop it right in. I just keep it at a nice thing. You drop the chain right in just like that, nice and easy. And then sometimes you can angle the vise a little bit if it makes it easier for you. And you just tighten it up, and then, you know, same thing in reverse. You just go this way, and then you're gonna go just like that. Like I said, I already did that side. I'm just showing you how I flip it. Now, if you want to sharpen the chain while it's still on the saw, it's pretty easy. That's how I do it. I just drop it in like this, in the bar, get a nice spot for it, and then there you go. Same difference. You're gonna go this way. I think we use a different, this is a smaller saw, we use a different file, but yeah, same kind of deal. Just put it in there, mark your spot wherever it is, or some of the chains have a colored link, start there. And then same thing, hit your rakers, hit your file, and if it spins, you can just lock the bar, or if, you know, while you're pushing on it. Otherwise, you just move it that way, lock it in position when you file. And then same thing, you just flip the saw the other way. Some people can flip the saw upside down. I have better luck just flipping the saw, you know, putting the engine on this side and the bar on that side, and then I just put my arm over like that, and that works for me too. So those are basically the ways that I sharpen chains, and I have really good luck with it. And while we're at it, you know, that pretty much covers how to do the chain, but when you have your bar off, there's a couple things important to do to prep your bar also. Drop the screwdriver, excuse me. That happens a lot. So on the end you have this. Now some bars actually have a hole where you can oil them. This steel bar doesn't have that. But you want to make sure that the bearing on the end is good. Nice, and you'll feel them sometimes. They get really kind of like burnt, and that way you know that that bar is shot. Take a very small little screwdriver. Sometimes you could even just use the end of your chain tool. You're gonna put it in there. Now there's a lot that builds up in there, a lot of dirt, and the oil goes in there, and you want the oil to move around so it's getting on your chain. I just take the screwdriver, and I always go in this direction. So I go from the top and I go down to the end this way so it doesn't get up into that little sprocket. I already cleaned this one out, but let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff that comes out of here. So you just stripe it down a couple times, you clean that out. Same thing, flip it, you go to the other side, you just kind of stripe it down like that, and you'll see there'll be big chunks of gunk. And then on this side of the bar, now let me try and do it in reverse here. Okay, so you have these are for your tighten, for the little part that tightens the chain. And then there's this hole, that's your oil hole. That hole right there, that's really, really important to make sure that that hole is clear. So take a little screwdriver if you want, and then there's one on the opposite side also. So there's two. I use an air hose, and I take the air hose and I blow the bar out. It's really kind of dangerous. Make sure you have eye protection on if you do it. And I blow the oiler holes out also with air. I'm not telling you to do that. That's just how I do it. It works really good. It's just, you know, you got to be careful when you do that. But make sure that your bar is prepped good and cleaned out good, because if you don't get oil to the chain, all of this is a waste of time. You're going to cut for like 2 minutes and then goodbye. All right, folks. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, you know what to do down there in the question section. And if you need, I will leave in the description, I will leave a link to the file holder, and then check out in the end screen, I'll leave some other videos like this. Thank you so much. Peace, everybody. Take care.